Katika yote ya dharau akatutia kidole cha jito, ati akatuambia gavana wake hapa ni Sonko, yule mtu ambaye anavaa nyororo na mabangili kutoka kito mpaka miguu. Na huyu Kalonzo Musyoka, ile shere, ile dharau umeonyesha watu wa Mombasa. Mwanzo tutakibwaga kile kikaragosi chako Cartoon Network, halafu baada ya kushamalizana naye na wewe utawahi kushikilia nyadhifa za kitaifa katika Kenya hii, hata kama ni dharau chani, hata kama ni dharau wazee wetu. Basi huyu Kalonzo atuona sisi ni watu wa kubabaishwa na Sonko.
Good afternoon to you viewers. I hope you are fine wherever you are. Welcome to Talk to Africa. My name is George. As I promised you in our earlier video, we will discuss today the issue of Hassan Omar. What is Hassan Omar up to, attacking everybody, including Kalonzo Musyoka? What is he up to? He's attacked Jomo Kenyatta, he's attacked Moi, he's attacked Kibaki, he's attacked Uhuru Kenyatta, and now he's attacking Kalonzo Musyoka. What does this signify in the race in Mombasa?
Atakuja yule na mabangili yake na mapete yake na mikufu yake. Atakuja katika mita yenu awape shilingi 50. Atakuja na mawota buza ya maji. Atayaondoa pale atakapomaliza uchaguzi. Aliwafanyia Wakikuyu dharau hizi ndani ya Nairobi. Wakikuyu wakamng'oa. Sonko alikuwa hapiti na kura zake, anapitishwa na kura za Mount Kenya ndani ya Nairobi. Wacheni kufikiria yale mabangili na mapete ndio alikuwa akimpitisha. Alikuwa akipitishwa na kura ya TNA, alikuwa akipitishwa na kura ya Jubilee. Alipowafanyia madharau, akaua biashara zao, akawa na rekodi kila mtu, akawa anafanya dhambi kwa kila mtu. Wale watu wakashirikiana, wakamng'oa kwa impeachment. Mtu yoyote mwenye imani ya Mombasa ahakikishe kwa dharau ya Kalonzo Musyoka tusiweze kumpigia tena Kalonzo Musyoka kura, sio ya urais ama mahali popote atakaposimama. Na mtu yoyote ambaye yuko ndani ya Azimio, Kalonzo Musyoka akiwa mgombea mwenza wa Raila Odinga, muhakikishe ni watu wote wa Mombasa wamuibwaga tikiti hiyo kwa dharau ya yule watermelon, mtu ambaye ako na sifa za wadudu na vinyangarika vingine. Huwezi kuja kutudharau katika mji wa Mombasa.
If you're watching this channel for the first time, kindly consider subscribing to it so that we grow our membership. If you like any of our videos, by the way, I have a number of videos, hot videos. Kindly like the videos on YouTube. What is Hassan Omar up to, attacking everybody in Mombasa? First, I would like to tell you, basically Mombasa has attracted 3 strong candidates for the gubernatorial race, and one of them, of course, is Hassan Omar. The other candidate in Mombasa right now is the ODM candidate. Basically, it's called Abdulsawad Sherrif Nassir. Abdulsawad Sherrif Nassir had agreed with the other competitor, Suleiman Shabir, and basically he is a ODM candidate in Mombasa. Then of course there is Mike Mbuvi Sonko. Mike Mbuvi Sonko is actually fronted by Kalonzo Musyoka, and this has made Hassan Omar very mad. He's really called Kalonzo Musyoka names from watermelon to chameleon, and you know, when Hassan Omar is angry, you know, he shows it and he says it openly, you know. So these are the candidates in Mombasa, and I think one of them will end up being, will end up being the governor. Forget about the other candidates, just focus on the 3. So the race in Mombasa actually has narrowed down to those 3. Hassan Omar, Hussein Shirai. The race in Mombasa has narrowed down to 3 candidates: Hassan Omar of UDA, Mike Sonko of Wiper, and Abdulsawad Sherrif Nassir of ODM. If you want to see the real picture, put those 3 names the other way around. Then you'll see the order in which they actually fall on the ground. What has made Hassan Omar so mad that he has attacked everybody, including Kalonzo Musyoka? If you look at Hassan Omar, his history is a history of bad decisions. You remember when Hassan Omar was actually working with Raila Amolo Odinga, there was a contest between him and Ali Hassan Joho in Mombasa. And Hassan Omar was so hard and refused to cede ground or even then just reason with Raila Amolo Odinga and essentially Ali Hassan Joho. Then Hassan Omar actually moved away from ODM and actually joined Wiper, and he became very active in Wiper. And I think that was a mistake, because when you enter into politics, and this is advice for free, when you enter into politics, you should have a strategy and look at the way forward beyond the election that actually you are contesting. Hassan Omar entered in there and went with anger, and he thought he could bulldoze his way through Raila Amolo Odinga and through Ali Hassan Joho, and that was a big bad mistake. And he is making the same mistake again, attacking everybody now and being very bitter about this race, and particularly about the fact that Kalonzo Musyoka has actually nominated Mike Mbuvi Sonko. That is a big mistake, and Hassan Omar will again remember this in the next 5 years. That I can assure you. There's actually also a big possibility that, other than being bitter because of Kalonzo Musyoka and the fact that Hassan Omar never expected Kalonzo Musyoka to appoint anybody, let alone Mike Mbuvi Sonko, Hassan Omar has actually focused his anger to Kalonzo Musyoka. And this exposes Kalonzo Musyoka. This exposes Kalonzo Musyoka, who has a history of actually just running in the middle and knocking down everybody who is racing with him, even if they are going on the same side, knocking those people down. So you remember Kalonzo Musyoka during the Grand Coalition government, when Raila Amolo Odinga was negotiating with Kibaki, the late Kibaki, God rest his soul in peace, Kalonzo Musyoka actually ran in the middle of the race and knocked down almost everybody. That is Raila Amolo Odinga on one hand and Kibaki on the other hand. This running in the middle is basically lack of policy and lack of strategy, and I would say lack of basically lack of political stand. Let me put it that way. You see, so this middle race is a problem for Kalonzo Musyoka. Even in this particular race right now, Kalonzo Musyoka is the difficulty. Kalonzo Musyoka is the complication. And even if you looked yesterday, just to divert a little bit, Kalonzo Musyoka was actually, marked by Senator Wambua. That Senator Wambua has actually strangle-held Kalonzo Musyoka. So this thing actually of Mike Mbuvi Sonko made Hassan Omar very upset with Kalonzo Musyoka, having worked with Kalonzo Musyoka, and he has brought out the real picture of Kalonzo Musyoka for those of us or you who did not know initially who Kalonzo Musyoka is. But having done that, Hassan Omar has actually blown his chances completely, But if you look at what Hassan Omar also said, you will know that Hassan Omar's heart is still in Raila Amolo Odinga and is Azimio. Because Hassan Omar went ahead and still advised people in Azimio not to vote for Kalonzo Musyoka if he is nominated, the running mate of Raila Amolo Odinga in Azimio. That tells you Hassan Omar knows very well that coast is basically Azimio. And he knows very well that in as much as he's getting into this particular race, the most likely candidate to come out a winner will be the Azimio candidate. And that is basically Abdulsawad Sherrif Nassir. Given that, given that Joho has actually put his support and supported his candidature. So Hassan Omar knows very well that Mombasa, apana, that one is gone to Azimio. But what does this attack on Jomo Kenyatta, attack on Moi, attack on Kibaki, attack on Uhuru, and even now attack on Kalonzo Musyoka mean? This actually will tell you something about the personality of Hassan Omar. Hassan Omar is a very bitter person. Hassan Omar, in as much as, in my opinion, can make a very good governor. Hassan Omar not only lacks strategy, he is also a bitter person, and he is now using the tactics that will actually sink him. Those UDA tactics are not the natural tactics of Hassan Omar in politics, and that is not within his DNA. I think Hassan Omar has found himself with nothing else left but actually go along with William Samoei Ruto and UDA. Otherwise, the natural place for Hassan Omar would be basically in ODM and in Azimio. That is where Hassan Omar belongs, and that is where his heart is. Having exposed basically Kalonzo Musyoka further, having even worked with him, it just tells you who Kalonzo Musyoka is, and basically by exposing Kalonzo Musyoka, Hassan Omar has exposed himself wide and now closed his political chapter until and unless Hassan Omar actually changes again and tries to re-strategize his future. Like I said, Hassan Omar should have stuck with ODM, and he should have stuck with Ali Hassan Joho and Raila Amolo Odinga. It would have been a better way of doing things. What do you think the utterances and the bitter insults and words from Hassan Omar mean to Hassan Omar, to ODM, to Azimio, and to Kalonzo? I would really appreciate to have your comments down there. Today, in our side more show, I would like again to look at the funerals. You know, in this particular funeral of Kibaki, you know, the Archbishop or the bishop that was presiding the funeral had gagged politicians, although somewhere along the line smartly, William Samoei Ruto was able to still talk politics and got a one-up against Raila Amolo Odinga. I believe that politicians should be allowed to do anything, to talk everywhere, even in churches and funerals. I believe that that is their right. If they are allowed to talk in funerals or they are able to talk in churches, they should be allowed to talk. In any case, somebody will be digging their own graves. If people don't like politicians talking in churches, then that way politicians will ban their own photos, watachoma picha zao. So they should be allowed basically to talk in churches, and if that is a bad thing, let the voters decide. But for me, with freedoms that are there, let people be free in funerals. By the way, there's nothing wrong with eating in funerals. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, this was a taboo sometimes back. You remember when the Luo community were being told and laughed at, oh, you eat in funerals, but today you go out there, people are looking at the menu. You know, a funeral is basically a place where people meet and is a social place. Yes, you remember that person. You'll sympathize with the families. But at the same time, you need to appreciate that that is a place where people meet. And if people stay somewhere for a long time, then food has to be served. By the way, going back to churches, in churches, you know, the churches have programs. And in those particular programs, like in my church, the Anglican Church, there's space for everything. There's space for announcements. There's space for announcements like weddings, the same funerals that we are talking about. And even there's space where people are allowed to talk. In fact, maybe even after those churches. So there shouldn't be any hard and fast rule on whether or not politicians are supposed to donate, speak in churches, or do all those sorts of things. I think let the individual churches and the pastors decide that at that particular moment. We are losing a lot of opportunity of knowing our politicians just because we want to make other people think like we do, that all churches are supposed to be, this, that, and the other. Let the Bible, if you are a Christian, let the Bible actually judge you in there than actually us giving rules. And by the way, if there are any regulations, if you want to regulate churches, funerals, and all that, that should be regulated before, and it should be in our laws. If it doesn't exist in our laws, please don't regulate those particular churches, and let us not interfere with churches so that they can run their programs accordingly. That was the side mbosho, or the side pocket. What do the attacks by Hassan Omar on everybody but himself, including Kalonzo Musyoka, mean in the political world? What does it mean to Azimio? What does it mean for the race in Mombasa? Is it finished? I would like to hear your comments. Thank you very much for tuning in. Welcome to Talk to Africa. My name is George. Asante sana.